Whenever you are running a good farm, I always talk about this medication, vaccination, all these things are important and necessary at your farm. Or else you stand a chance of losing your investment, because if you watch my videos, I always talk about all this livestock in a business perspective. Because at the end of the day, this is your money, this is your investment. So it's not good that you put money somewhere and all of a sudden it disappears in terms of debt. So that's why you need to always make sure that your medication is up to date at your farm. Now, what are those medications you need to manage your goat cells? In every farm you go to, in every goat farm you go to, you must find these drugs there. If that farm, if they are doing their job well, because animals' health is paramount, they should always have these drugs there. Now, the thing about this farm, you all know I do goats, pigs, and cows. Most of the drugs I use for goats are almost the same ones I use for pigs and cows. So any drug I buy, I'm going to use it for three things. It's a three-purpose drug, which is for goats, cows, and pigs. So basically, I'm buying the same drugs for the same animals, for different animals. Now, what are the most important ones you need? These are like the 5 most important drugs you need. Now, this is a sulfur. I don't know if you people can see the camera very well. This is sulfur dimidine drug. This drug is basically used to manage diarrhea in cattle, in goats, and in pigs. So if you're running a pig farm, or a goat farm, or a cattle farm, you need this sulfurdimidine, which is used for E. coli treatment, that's treatment of diarrhea or scouring. Now, the next drug is the antibiotics. Every farm needs an antibiotics because there are some things that might arise or some health challenges your goats might have, and the only thing you can use to tackle that issue at that time is this long-acting antibiotics, which I use at my farm. Now, it's always advised that whenever you are bringing in new goats to your farm, after vaccinating, you should also give them antibiotics so as to boost their immune system. This antibiotics is used for so many things. It's a broad spectrum antibiotics. So whenever you see that your goat is getting weak, is not, eating well, you make sure you get it antibiotics, because those are signs of ill health. When your goat is not moving like others, is not eating like others, the first thing that should come to mind is to give it vitamins, multivitamins, and antibiotics. I've been working to that farm. I'm dating. Now, the next thing on this thing is the deworming drug, which is avermectin. Let's talk about these drugs in my video. The avermectin is a deworming medication. Is a deworming injection for both cattle, for pigs, and for goats. Now, there are people that prefer to give their goats these diluted deworming drugs, the one they will put in water and that goats will drink. I'm not a fan of that. Like I always tell people, what I do on my farm. I'm not a fan of, giving goats water and they'll drink and they'll be dewormed. No. For me, I feel that injection is much more effective. You'll be there, you know that injection has entered the bloodstream. And injections, I think they should work faster when compared to drugs and all these soluble deworming drugs. So this is the ivermectin. And the next drug on this for these goats is the thylacine. The thylacine is basically for pneumonia, for cough, for pneumonia, for anything respiratory. This is the drug for you. Now, this thylacine is something that you must have, because there are sometimes that a goat will cough. You shouldn't ignore it. You should give it the thylacine, because the thylacine is also a broad spectrum antibiotics. This what do you call it? This in some cases, this thylacine can be used for diarrhea, but is mostly used for respiratory issues in livestock. Now, the next drug I have is if you cannot see it, all these drugs that's that they are always being used in this farm. So this drug I showed you people now is the multivitamins. So it's always good that you have multivitamins. What is the functional or work of multivitamins? Multivitamins is basically there to boost appetite. Let's say your goat is not eating very well. Let's say it's weak. It's there to boost the appetite I know, make it, just like what Locozed boost does in human beings. It boosts your, your immune, makes you stronger. That's exactly what multivitamins does. It makes the animal to develop instant appetite and start eating well, and makes it not to be weak again. Because in some cases, in fact, the biggest sign of illness I've noticed in all this life talk is weakness. Once an animal is having issues, it must be weak. It will lose appetite. So that's basically the work of these multivitamins. Now, if you're giving the multivitamins, I always advise people give it together with the antibiotics. Wherever the multivitamin is not able to boost in the immune in the body, the antibiotics will go there and boost it up. So that's basically it. See, most of these things you don't need to call a veterinary doctor. The only things I call vets on these farms, the ones I cannot handle, I just put a call across and they come over and see what they can do. Because like it or not, anyway, I'll leave that at this point before it will be as if I'm attacking veterinary doctors in Nigeria. But the thing is that most of our vets, they are not really learning much in Nigerian universities. If you go to Nigerian universities today, you see that most of these vets, they are being inadequately prepared for the life ahead of them. In fact, to be honest with you, in the few years I've been raising livestock, I've learned a lot when it comes to medication, more than what lecturers will teach in a 6-year veterinary course if you go to universities. So in the universities, what they teach mostly is theory. While here on the farm, we do practical. And that's why I try to, educate some of you people that are into this livestock farming, so that people can help yourself. And so as even the vets, they can also, anyway, sure, I'll leave it at this point before I will go overboard. So that's on today's video. See you guys in the next video. Subscribe and see you people in the next video.